Alright, so for tech news of the week between March 7th and 11th, 2016, still can't believe it's already March. I mean, it was Daylight Savings Day, today's the 13th. I can't believe it's already March. Time goes fast, unbelievable. Anyways, let me pop this up here. The first one is about Oculus Rift. This, From Tech News World, Oculus opens social doors for Gear virtual reality, which virtual reality is growing more and bigger. Good thing. Let's see here. Oculus VR this week launched Oculus Social for Samsung's Gear virtual reality viewer, which basically can virtual reality users from Gear VR can create profiles on Oculus Social and search out friends with real names or handles. The company, which has yet to ship its own virtual reality headset, also released 2 social games encouraging more friendly on Oculus Social: Hurlbound Gladiators and Social Trivia. Just what the internet needs: more social trivia. Players can team up to take arms and clash between demons and goblins in the fighting pits of arena battlefields. Sounds like RuneScape. I don't know. So, basically, the team deployed a Facebook video tab in Oculus Social. The company will give users the ability to sync their Facebook and Oculus Social profiles so they can personalize their feeds of 360 videos content. Good thing for them. That's getting farther and farther. For Oculus is always advancing in virtual reality technology. Parent company Facebook, which owns Oculus Social, says it's been planning to use Oculus Social to change the inherently exclusionary nature of virtual reality. This is according to Charles King, principal analyst for Pund IT. What else do we got here? It's the firm recently updated its forecast for virtual reality that has found an experience like the ones Gear VR provides will bring an estimate US dollar $1.8 billion in revenue for hardware and software sales by the end of next year. That's a lot of money. Which it says here the VR market will swell to roughly $4.5 billion the year after that. So $4.5 billion by 2018. That is actually pretty good. They're making a lot of money off of virtual reality. Let's see what else. That's really about that. I can post an article from Tech News World. The next story I have is also from Tech News World. Opera desktop browser is coming with ad blocking coded into its software, which is pretty good because Firefox and Chrome, you have to add it on. That Opera's going to be having it so it comes built into the browser, which is pretty good. Opera announced on Thursday that the new version of its desktop browser will have ad blocking built in. Users can block ads in other browsers, but only through add-on programs called extensions. Obviously. With ad blocking built in, Opera's web engine can perform the task better than extensions. True, very true. Which speeds up the browser because the more and more extensions you have, the slower the browser is going to go. Kind of like the more and more link files and files you have on your desktop, on your computer, the more RAM it takes up. Same concept. It says here, people care about speed in a web browser, so when you're developing a browser, you always have to think about speed, says Kriston Calandra, Senior Vice President for Global Engineering at Opera. While working on the next version of the browser, Opera's developers have asked themselves what they could do to give it a speed boost, it says here. They said they noticed most of the time that it's spent loading a page is spent loading advertising. Of course. I mean, you gotta love advertising. Honestly, I'm kind of glad I like Hulu Plus, because a lot of advertising, even on Hulu Plus, but even on normal TV, advertising is just getting, I swear, commercials are just getting worse and worse. It's just driving me insane. It's like I can barely watch advertising anymore. It's like, how much dumber can they get, or they think people are? It's just like, ay, ay, ay. Anyways, although using extensions to block advertising can have a positive impact on performance, Opera's developers discovered that by blocking ads at the web engine level, they could load web pages at an average of 40% faster than with an ad blocking extension. So it's 40% faster to code it directly into the Opera's coding than it is to have it as an extension. Let's see, what else is it here? That's possible because the extension is running inside of the browser, while our ad blocker is working at the network level. Colundra explained, which I just kind of said. Ad blockers have gained popularity in recent months, particularly in the mobile world, which is true. It has picked up rapidly in the mobile world. Both Samsung and Apple have announced support for ad blockers in their mobile browsers. Although, meanwhile, in Europe, mobile operator 3 last month announced that it would start blocking advertisements at the network level for its units in the United Kingdom and Italy. If successful, the initiative could be expanded to other 3 markets around the world. Let's see here. Anything else on this? Although Opera has a small share of the worldwide browser market, less than 2%, because it's mostly dominated with Chrome and Firefox, it remains to see how much an impact the upcoming version of the browser will have on advertising. If Opera was the dominant browser, it would be a different story, says Greg Sterling, Vice President of Strategy and Insight at the local search association. But Opera is a very small player at this point. Opera has always been a small player at this point. It's always been Chrome. Well, Chrome's picked up over Firefox, but it used to be Firefox, but now it's Chrome, Firefox, and then for those people who still use Internet Explorer, don't use Internet Explorer. Edge. I mean, if you want to use a Microsoft web browser, use Edge. So much better. Internet Explorer, so many vulnerabilities, it's not even funny. Kind of like Windows XP. So yeah, that's pretty much with that one. The next one I have here is about Nest. Let me just wait for this to pop up here. Nest can now tell if you're home alone. So Nest on Thursday announced that 2 new features: Family Count and Home and Away Assist. Family Counts will let up to 10 people access the Nest products in a connected home from their Android or iPhone operating system devices. That means an end to sharing logins and passwords, the company said. Users can be added or removed seamlessly from the family account, which can provide notifications for the entire family. Users also get updates from Nest Protect. Check in with the Nest Cam and receive a monthly report on product usage. This would basically allow for all the family to share and not just share under one account. Family accounts also allow everyone in the home to connect with the Nest app with their own Nest account. The whole family can now control The whole family can now control products, view live video streams from the Nest Cam, and receive notifications and get their own copy of the monthly home report. A Nest spokesman said in a statement provided to Tech News World by company rep Ivy Choi. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Home and Away Assist was designed to track the patterns of household members, utilize learning algorithms, and activity sensors that are built into products such as the Nest Learning Thermostat, which they've had some problems with that, where if no one's home, instead of lowering the temperature, it'll actually raise the temperature, and then you get monthly, it raises the temperature really high, and when there's no one in the house, I think they've kind of fixed the bug in that, but that was a problem when Nest was first coming out. Let's see here. The feature also works with the smartphone's location service to determine which, if any, users are at home. So if users aren't at home at all, it will detect that. If any users are home, it will detect which ones are home and which ones aren't. It will track multiple handsets, which it'll utilize sensor data, algorithms, and location data from multiple handsets to help ensure that users will have the temperature just where they want it as they enter and exit certain areas of the house. So it will basically track certain members wherever they're in the house. So if I'm in the living room and I wanted this, and someone else wants it at this temperature in this other part of the house, stuff like that. Basically, let's see where we're here. And then it talks about privacy concerns. One trade-off is the level of tracking and monitoring that Nest would need to utilize to make its system work. People who have privacy concerns may not be ready to have smart home devices track their movements in and outside the home, according to Schreiner. For this system to really work, you need to give a certain level of privacy, so people are going to have to come to grips with their own definitions and security, she said. There's going to be a trade-off between in-home functionality and privacy, said Roger Kay, principal analyst at Endpoint Technologies Associates. Since information is reflected through servers, cloud, and private data, or it's mostly actually just servers and cloud, private data is going to go to the outside world. So some people don't care, but a small amount of the metadata can tell you a lot what's going on. And then there's, because you have people who don't care, so you have a lot of people who do care. A lot of people who don't understand it, who are always in shock, like, oh no, who freak out, but, they just need to understand how it works. That's why we're here. Security is another potential concern. Home and away assist needs to know only whenever you're home, and the information would be encrypted, of course. If that personal data were to fall into the wrong hands, however, it could allow someone to monitor patterns and routines of family members. That's the downside. Let's see here. Then it talks about a couple years ago, there were some warnings that people shouldn't advertise that they were traveling, and that you should be discreet on social media when on vacation, so as not to advertise you are at home, which is true. I mean, you tell everyone, "Oh, I'm going here. I'm not home," and they can find out where you live and they break into your house. That's really all that talks about. The next one is about distributed denial of service attacks, or DDoS. DDoS attacks skyrocketed in 2015, according to PC Mag. According to a news report from VeriSign, distributed denial of service attacks were on the rise, and there aren't only more of them nowadays. They're bigger and more powerful too. Just how bad? According to the company, which runs 2 of the internet's 13 root name servers, there's basically been 85% more attacks in the fourth quarter of 2015 than the same time period of 2014. That's a pretty big jump. So more than 62% of the attacks VeriSign ate up more than 1 gigabyte per second of data, and around 1/3 topped 5 Gbps, 5 gigabytes per second. That's crazy. Just around the same percent pushed past 10 gigabytes per second of data in quarter 3 and quarter 4 of 2014 and quarter 4 of 2015. That is just nuts. I just read that out loud. That's just reading out that loud. It just sounds even more crazy than just reading in your head. Let's see here. The largest volumetric attack VeriSign defended in quarter 4 of 2015 targeted the telecommunications industry and peaked at 65 gigabytes per second and 125 million packets per second, MPPS. That is insane. The 125 megabits per second flood is one of the highest packets per second floods ever observed by VeriSign, surpassing the previous flood of 91 million megabits per second mitigated by VeriSign in Q2 of 2014. This attack, aimed at disrupting critical network services, consisted of multiple short bursts in distributed denial of service attack traffic and continued intermittently for several weeks. Wow. That's just crazy. That's insane. 75% of the attacks were user datagram protocol floods, consisting of NTP, DNS, and SSDP. That's 15% consisted of transmission control protocol floods, and application layer attacks was consisted of 10%. This is crazy. Yeah, I mean, I have it set, like on all my computers, I have it set where, unless, well, on my Windows computer, I still have to do it on my Linux machine, my Lenovo running Linux, but I have it to where if I'm not connected to my home network, echo requests will turn off, so you can't ping, it'll just send you back packets failed. It won't ping any packets to my computer. I've tested it out at my friend Travis's house. Works great. Of course, I can control when, if I want to ping something or not, I'll turn it off, but I've tested it, and it works pretty good. This other one from PC Mag now is about TP-Link. Here, one second. My left hand's freezing up here. I just had to readjust it. TP-Link is to block third-party firmware for routers, sort of. This is from another one from PC Mag. TP-Link, maker of various networking products like Wi-Fi routers, extenders, and adapters, had decided to prevent purchasers from loading open-source firmware on all of its devices going forward. Sort of. The reason? It is a lot easier to do so and comply with new Federal Communication Commission requirements, FCC. What provides third parties from messing with the device's radio frequency parameters, modulation type, or output power. In order to keep our products compliant with these implemented regulations, TP-Link is distributing devices that feature country-specific firmware. So, firmware for the United States only. Firmware for Canada only. Mexico. United Kingdom. New Zealand. So forth, so on. Examples. Devices sold in the United States will have firmware and wireless settings to ensure compliance with local laws and regulations related to transmission power, because there's always transmission power that's different from country to country. As a result of these necessary changes, users are not able to flash the current generation of open-source third-party firmware. We're excited to see the Creative Wave members of the open-source community update the new firmware to meet their needs. However, TP-Link does not offer any guarantees or technical support for customers attempting to flash any third-party firmware to their devices. So, basically, that goes on to say, let's see here. TP-Link statements would align with previous statements from Federal Communication Commission that indicate the agency isn't trying to ban third-party firmware with its updates requirements. Which I can see why they do that. I mean, it says here the FCC stipulates that all U.S. devices must comply with its new regulations starting on June 2nd. So, about 3 months from now. We will be curious to see the extent of TP-Link's changes and other router manufacturers' modifications once that date hits. So they're pretty much giving a date just like companies kind of gave a date with IC integrated circuit cards. Although that difference with that was you had to have it there. If you didn't, someone purchased something and got frauded, that company could be liable for fraud. Which recently I've seen a lot of companies switch over, which is a good thing. So that's slowly integrating nicely. The next story I have here is General Motors acquires self-driving startup Cruise Automation. So General Motors has just made a huge investment in a self-driving car technology. The automakers acquired Cruise Automation, which is based in San Francisco and is an autonomous vehicle technology maker. The company did not announce financial terms, but Fortune says the deal is valued at more than $1 billion between cash and stock. GM said the acquisition will allow it to accelerate its autonomous vehicle development efforts. Fully autonomous vehicles can bring our customers enormous benefits in terms of greater convenience, lower cost, and improved safety for their daily mobility needs, says General Motors President Dan Ammann. I think I pronounced that right. The company comes after GM in January invested $500 million in Lyft, which is the direct competitor to Uber. And the companies are also working on what is called on-demand autonomous vehicles. GM says Cruise will operate as an independent unit within its newly formed autonomous vehicle development team and continue to be based in San Fran. Founded in 2013, the company has moved quickly to develop and test autonomous vehicle technology in San Francisco's challenging city environment, GM said. And that's the end of that article, which it's good for them, creates competition, and you always need competition between companies. If you don't have competition, you're going to have one by gigantic monopoly. If it wasn't for Target, because there's Target, if it wasn't for Walmart, Target would be a monopoly. If it wasn't for same thing that goes with JCPenney, Kohl's, etc., etc. That's Yahoo has now dropped Yahoo Games and live text. As the bloodletting continues as part of the Q1 progress report, Yahoo indicated that it will be scuttling some of its products. On the chopping block this time are Yahoo Games, Yahoo Live Text, more Yahoo regional sites, and Yahoo's Boss Son JavaScript objection notation. Yahoo Games will go away on May 13th. Hold on a second. Sorry, throat. On May 13th, which gives gamers a bit more time to play those favorites and developers a bit more time to figure out any kind of transition processes they need to implement. Of course, Yahoo has kind of been going down it's been kind of going down, especially ever since Microsoft bought them. It's like, I don't know. That mostly affects anyone who has made in-application purchases for any Yahoo Games title, and it'll be up to the developers to handle how to possibly migrate your content to a different platform starting on March 14th. To a different platform. Starting on March 14th, gamers will no longer be able to make any in-application purchases on the Yahoo Games site. Though you probably don't use says here for players. Publishers asked them to develop a transition plan for players in the coming days. Reads a Yahoo FAQ. Though you probably don't use live text, the company messaging application that took videos of its users while they were sending text to their friends, its too is going away. The app barely made it a year, having launched in just this last July. That's really, yeah. And then they're shutting down live text at the end of this month. And it allows us to experiment with new user experiences and to feature to drive innovations across our products. They also go on to say, we plan to incorporate the learnings and features into Yahoo products, including Yahoo Messenger, our core messaging platform, reads Yahoo's announcement. Also, application, I'm so out of it. The APIs for Yahoo's Boss or Build Your Own Search service are also going away as of March 31st. Yeah, I don't don't know about that one. Why would they get rid of the APIs? I mean, sure. I mean, that's kind of a bad thing, because then we programmers can't change any coding we'd like to. Typical Yahoo now, ever since Microsoft bought them out. But why take away the application programming interface? I don't know. What was the other one here? Let me pop it up. I think that was it. Yep, that was all I found for this week. There are some other stories, but I figured I'd keep it short. Yeah, I'm having a really hard time thinking here. I've worked so much lately. That's all I have for this week, guys. Leave your comments on what you think. I'll post, as always, on Twitter and stuff. I'm always posting, and Reddit. I'm always posting news stories that break and everything. And I will do another vlog probably next weekend, or maybe later this week. I'll see. I don't know. And have a great week, guys. I still can't believe it's March. Time's just flying. I'm already halfway through my school semester. That's just insane. Anyways, have a great night.